Hi, everyone. Here we are on Two Psychics. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do the sound, our intro. So I'm just going to put that on for everyone right now. And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to find that right now. So tonight it's episode 53, and we're inviting Michael Edley in right now. And here we are. So here we
Oh,
go.
hello. What is up, Mary Amy? How are you?
Welcome to Two Psychics. This is Michael Edley, Evidential medium and mystic, discussing all things spiritual. Hello, I'm Mary Amy of Two Psychics, an intuitive wisdom coach, tapping into your mystical life and sharing messages I receive about you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 53 of Two Psychics. Whoo, 53 episodes. It's hard to believe. Hard to believe we're on episode 53, but it has been a fabulous journey. Having this fabulous journey with my fantastic co-host, Mary Amy. What is going on, Mary Amy? How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. I can feel the spring, summer is here, and I'm super excited. And we have so much to look forward to. We have so many upcoming guests. I have guests contacting me tonight. Here we are. It's Two Psychics, episode 53, and it's May 29th. And tonight it's all about manifesting. We have a guest, Kalen Olson, who's a sacred beauty guide, and she's going to be joining us in a few minutes. And before we speak about our topic, tell me what's going on with you. Tell me what's new with you, Michael.
Busy events and readings and all that good stuff. The summer is in full swing at the Jersey Shore, and I've just been going nonstop. So it's good. Today was one of those days where I was able to be outside. I was doing some gardening. I was, kind of getting my nature zen on. And it was good. It was good for me. I was able to unplug, no cell phone for many, many hours today. And, it was a good day to unplug, unwind, hang out with the flowers and the plants, and that was kind of how it unfolded. No, it's been good. I'm what I'm finding right now is, as we talk about manifesting, we are in this new growth cycle with the moon cycle that we're in, and with the energy cycles that are kind of unfolding around us. It is an energy cycle of growth. So that would be one thing that I would tell anyone, if you're looking to move forward in a certain aspect of your life, whether that's career, relationships, start laying the groundwork. And we're going to talk about manifesting tonight and a lot of the aspects about manifesting. But one thing I would say before you start jumping in wholeheartedly and going, I'm going to manifest this into my life right now, I say start laying the groundwork of a balanced, grounded energy center. That is one thing that I think sometimes people, they kind of jump into fast forward. They think law of attraction, manifesting. I'm gonna get my vision board. I'm gonna have my mantras, 1,000 times over the course of the day, and whatever that may be. What you want to do, even before you get into that, is start recalibrating your energy into a grounded, flowing energy that will be open and it will be receptive to the manifestation. Because if your energy is chaotic and you're going through a lot of stuff, that's going to trickle over. So you really want to lay the groundwork and a foundation of balance. And in that balance, that's where you go into the flow state. And in that flow state, that's where manifesting will occur. And the one thing I want to tell anyone out there that's listening is, manifesting isn't just about a vision board or writing your goals down and, burying them, or, or doing some kind of process, releasing them to the universe. When you're manifesting, you have to understand part of manifesting is lots of action and follow through and staying in that flow state to manifest. Because what do they say? Inspiration and luck and all these different things are wrapped up into, what do they say? 99% what perspiration, 1% inspiration is luck, and you got lucky. No. There is a groundwork and there is a process you can put in place to make sure manifesting will compound. And when you start seeing that and you start seeing these processes unfold, it is phenomenal. I'm talking about this because I've manifested so much into my own life. Literally over the last 20 years, I've manifested relationships, businesses, contacts. I mean, anything you can think of that you think there's no way I could manifest that, I'm telling you, I manifested it. So I'm not speaking from, hokey pokey wishful thinking. I'm telling you, in my life, I've manifested some of the most incredible things, and you can also manifest those things into your life. It's a process, and you have to learn and understand the process before you can completely immerse yourself in it and allow it to unfold. So there is some groundwork that you want to make sure you have in place before you jump into the world of law of attraction and manifesting.
Yes. Okay, we all have a choice to have this dynamic life ahead of us. And Michael is talking a lot about what I'm about to share with you, and it's about it's a process of transforming, isn't it, manifest? Because it's going from one place to another, whether it's physical or mental or emotional or spiritual, and it's about change, right? And it's about evolving. So manifest is a series of powerful intentions that create reality. It shows you evidence through signs and messages. It's about ideas turning into a reality, the power of believing, of thinking something. And it's through images and it's through emotions. Thoughts and actions change outcomes. Cause and effect by letting go of all attachments. And I'm going to do a little mini manifest before our guest comes on, and I believe she's going to speak about this. So you want to have visualization and positive affirmations into reality. So let's do this together right now. Before I mention to you the little visualization, I'm just going to say there's some benefits like stress, reduces stress. It helps you to accomplish goals manifesting. Optimism, it's calming. Okay, so everyone, let's close our eyes. Let's get into a comfortable position. Okay, let's focus on our breathing. We want to start by relaxing our physical body. We want to let go of any stress that we have within us. Your legs, your feet throughout the day. We every action that we take out in the physical reality, we are putting some kind of stress on ourselves or expectation. So we're going to let go of all that, aren't we? As we're sitting here comfortably and we're letting out a breath. So we're relaxing our legs, our thighs, our waist, our torso, all of our organs. I had a little bit of stress before this, and last night I felt my heart was beating super fast. So we want to calm our heart rate, our blood pressure. Okay, so we're letting go of our arms and our neck. We're going to move it around a little bit. Okay, and we're letting go of anything that's holding us back. And we're focusing on the breath. So we're pushing away any doubt that we can do this, because it's all about how your thoughts can manifest, isn't it? And if you are doubting yourself or you're negative about it, of course you're not going to be able to manifest. So we're pushing away any doubt, and we're going to let the universe guide us. Okay? So I'd like you to focus on the breath. We're going to just inhale. Hold it a minute, a second, and let go. Exhale. We're going to inhale. Hold it. One more. Inhale. We're holding it. Okay. So we're just getting to a place of being more comfortable. And by grounding ourselves, we're putting our weight in our bottom. We're imagining our feet go down into the earth like they're grasping in the earth, roots like roots of a tree. Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to figure out what exactly you want. What is it that you want? What's the outcome you would like, the goal that you want? Okay, and so when you come up with that, what is that exactly? Is it something tangible? Is it something you can touch? Is it something about your personality you'd like to change? Is it materialistic? It's a place you want to travel to? Whatever it is, it's for your decision making. And I don't want you to share this with anyone, because then you take away some of its value within you, okay? We want to just allow ourselves to have our wants and our needs and whatever it is that we want to manifest. Okay, so we're going to just have positive thinking about whatever this is, whatever positive thinking means to you. To me, positive thinking is, yes, I can do it. I see it, of course. I don't ask anyone. I just go and do it. So we're going to have positive thinking about it. Yes, you can accomplish this. Yes, you can have this. And I'd like you to see, okay? I'd like you to see as you're looking at this, whatever it is that you want, what is it that you see? Remember this part of it. What are you seeing? What colors do you see? If you were to touch it, what does it feel like? Okay, because you want to make it as real as possible. What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Okay, what does it sound like? So think of all of these senses alert on this, whatever it is that you would like to have. Okay, your outcome, your want, your goal. Okay, so now that you have it and you can see it, This is mine. It's in my life right now. I want you to imagine that it's in your life right now. Does it make you feel good to have it in your life? Are you feeling like something in your stomach and doubting yourself? Oh, I can't have it. Maybe someone told you you can, or you doubt yourself. I'd like you to wipe that away or go to it and figure out where that's coming from. Now, if you are feeling, oh, I can totally have this, that's good. That's good. You're closer to it. Okay, so now it's right here in front of you. You're present with it. You can touch it. You can see it. You can smell it. You can feel it. You know it's right here. I'd like you to imagine a circle of light circling around it. Okay, this circle of light. And you're sensing within all of you, your organs, your flesh, your bones, your cells. You're feeling this. You're feeling this light that's circling it. And now I'd like you to make it like an 8 and a figure 8. So it's circling around you, the light, and it's circling around whatever it is you want. Okay, you're circling around it 3 times, let's say. 1, and it's a bold, whitish light, and it's glimmering and it's gleaming at you. 2, 3, and now have it go the other way. So it's in the figure 8 around whatever it is that you want. Light, bright light, and around you. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'd like you to go to your heart. Now, how are you feeling when you have this goal that you've accomplished, this outcome that you want, this event that you're manifesting, that you're going to get this, it's going to be yours, whatever it is? How are you feeling? How does your heart feel about it? Is it happy? Is it content? Is it excited? Because when your emotions are attached to whatever you're manifesting, you have a closer chance of it becoming a reality. Okay. So I'd like you to breathe it in. Let it go, any attachments that you have from the past. You're allowing this, you're accepting whatever this is into your life that you want it. It's going to be yours. No one's going to stop you from having it. You've accepted this. You have gratitude for attaining this goal. Okay. And then we're going to just stay in for a moment with it. Okay, and I'm going to count back to 1, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. And you're going to get what you want. Michael, I know you were really focused. I saw you focused. Because I had my eyes open some of the time. So the biblical meaning of manifest is a call to believers to put faith into action. So manifesting is really having faith that you can attain this, right? And you're having a good intention and you're creating a new reality for yourself. And I've spent a lot of time, like you mentioned that early on, that you've manifested, and I have too. And it's so interesting because I learned about this, gosh, and about 25 years ago about manifesting. And I would do something so deliberate that I would imagine it was almost like some kind of what was it, like quantum physics or something where I'd imagine a book before me and flipping the pages, and in my mind, I'd put in the book whatever it is that I wanted, and then it would eventually come to me. It was very strange. I'd read a book about quantum physics years ago, like 25 years ago. But I would get what I wanted sometimes later than I thought I would. And then the opportunity would come and I'd say, I don't think I want it anymore.
Well,
So
that's it, right? You have to be careful what you wish for, because it may come true. And that's the thing. I think people need to be really mindful. And we hear that saying, thoughts become things. And it is so true. Anything that begins in the mind can be created. It can come to this reality. We can manifest it into this reality. People need to understand that. So we have to be very mindful of our thoughts. We have to be very mindful of what we're focusing on. And I love what you said is, faith backed by action. And that's what it is. We need to believe that we are capable of manifesting that, whatever that end goal is. And one thing I think people get caught up on is we worry about all the details. We worry about, hey, I'm here, I'm at point A right now. My end goal of when I'm going to manifest of point B. Now I worry on all the little details in between point A to point B. And I can tell you, you're doing yourself a big disservice, and you want to get into the details, you want to understand the details, and you want to learn about things and allow that to unfold, but you don't want to focus on every small nuance that you block yourself from this end goal. You start thinking, wow, this is so overwhelming, this is so large, how am I ever going to accomplish that? I can tell you absolutely have to focus on that end goal and not worry about all the details from point A to point B of getting to that end goal. That's part of the process of letting go, of allowing that to let go of every ounce of control and allow the divine presence to kind of flow through. That is part of it, letting go and trusting. We absolutely have to do that. We also have to eliminate, if there's this sense of, I can't do this, these self-limiting beliefs, anything like that, we have to work through that stuff first, because if you aren't working through that energy and that's something you're dealing with, you are going to block out all of your manifesting. You'll have something good and then go, oh, I started manifesting this. Now all of a sudden I lost it, or something shifted and there was a detour. And what happened with that? We have to be very mindful. Thoughts become things. And again, faith followed by action. Action is part of it. You can't just come up with these visions and these goals, and you want to think about them. You want to, like Mary Amy talked about, you want to put that emotion into it. You want to feel it. You want to act as if you're driving that car, you're in that beautiful relationship with that magnificent person, you are running that fabulous company, and you're doing it on your terms. You want to feel that energy, and you don't want to come to that space from a place of lack or a place of not worthy, or I'm not good enough. So if you're dealing with those energies, just work that stuff out. Sit with those energies. As you start manifesting, if that stuff starts coming to the surface, you have to sit with that emotion and you have to work through and process that emotion. And then that's part of your self-growth journey in manifesting, because in manifesting, there is a lot of self-growth, and there's a lot of understanding yourself, understanding what's truly important to you, what matters. And it's about really learning who we are and what's important to us. And in that process, we start to allow the most beautiful things into our life, the most beautiful creations, the most beautiful opportunities, the most beautiful connections. And we have to be open, and we have to feel that beautiful emotion that goes with that. And if in that it stirs up some unsettling stuff, don't push those away, because that is your soul calling your attention to some kind of energy block that you need to work through. And part of manifesting is working through that stuff. So then you become that open conduit. You become that divine channel for manifesting. So that's one thing we really, it is truly a process of self-growth in the process of manifesting.
You can't have any fear when you when you mentioned just now, I have to give a description because she's going to be joining us in 1 minute. When you start to get all caught up in all the logistics of it, then you you get fear attached to whatever it is you want. And that's emotional. And when you bring emotions into it, guess what happens? You destroy it. If you have fear fear or negativity, or you ask people, you have to create something on your own independent of everyone else. That's original. When you ask someone else, they might not have the same goals as you. So they're going to add 2 cents, which is going to take a piece of your pie away. Then you ask somebody else, again, they're going to take some more. And then before you know it, you're not going to have anything left. Plus, when you create something new, you have to have so much energy to have it come to fruition. So if you start asking people and they're negative, then you're going to be all like, winds will be taken out of you. You won't be able to accomplish it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's the thing. A lot of people are coming from their self-limiting beliefs, or they want to keep you safe, and they're concerned that they're going to take off on this journey and try to do this. And wow, what if they fail? I want to keep them safe. So that's what people need to understand. A lot of times, if someone's telling you you can't do that or you shouldn't do that, it may not have anything to do with you at all. And it may be them projecting their self-limiting belief, or them trying to keep you safe and thinking they know better than you do. That's why I do believe you need to speak it out to the universe. You need to put it out there, but that could be in your own private meditation, in your space. And you allow that to manifest in your own energy. And then once you're at that point, that's one thing I never what I found early on when I started speaking about things I was trying to manifest or do, it something went awry. When I kept it to myself, I put it out to the universe, I kept it to myself, and I just kept following that with massive amounts of action, focus, feeling that energy, and just sitting in that energy, getting to that flow state. That's when it happened. So you're absolutely right. It's a very personal thing that we have to allow it to unfold in the timing that's right for us. And if we're sharing and we're speaking about it, yeah, we can get a lot of that negative energy, or we get the doubters or whatever that may be, and that has nothing to do with you.
Yes, exactly. They have a different journey. Okay, so I'm hoping that we get our guest, because I sent her, please join us. Okay, let me tell you about her in case she just clicks on any second. It's Kalen Olson, and she's a sacred beauty guide, and Kalen's about bringing presence, strength, joy, and love to the forefront until it becomes a reflection of limitlessness of what's possible. Here she is. And I'll keep going. And she has a class called Flow Master Class Manifest, and how to tune in and turn on an ancient remembering of how to manifest. I'm speaking about you right now. Flow. Learn why the mind alone can't call in next level manifestations. Understand the difference between mind-based and heart-based manifestation. Discover a framework for attuning to your own embodiment practice using color frequency. I'm so excited about this. Receive healing and release practices to shed outdated stories and thought loops. Experience a group activation to begin using color as living, breathing manifestation tool. Her website is kalenolson.com. Welcome to our show.
Welcome,
Thank
Kalen. How
you.
are
Hi.
you?
Thank you. I'm so great. I feel like I'm with two pros right now.
Okay, that's
We appreciate that, and we are so thankful for you, and we're so thankful that you've been able to make time to be part of Two Psychics tonight.
Yeah.
So what's going on? Where are you where are you zooming in from?
I am coming to you from Bend, Oregon in the United States.
Oregon. Oh, all right. Big shift from us city folk here on the East Coast in New York and the Jersey Shore. But yeah, that is awesome. So how is Oregon? Like, is it? Give me the vibe. What's the essence and the energy there?
Yeah, well, I've never been asked that because I think a lot of people just think like rain, right? And they've
Yeah,
heard the whole stories, but you're right. There's totally more to it.
Mm.
And, you've got the tropical rainforesty parts of more of like the upper Pacific Northwest, which is so lush and you feel like you're walking in fairyland and there's mushrooms everywhere and it's like super fun and dreamy. And then what's interesting is like you can get into Central Oregon, which is where I live, and it's completely high desert. So it's so different. It feels, I will say, like a little bit lighter. High desert town. So we've got sagebrush and more of those like deserty tones out in nature. So I think it carries like very different essence and beautiful in a different way, unique in a different way. We have like over 300 days of sunshine here with some snow in the winter. And then you get up to like the Portland, Oregon area that most people are familiar with. And that's when you've got like the opposite end, like almost 300 days of rain. So actually quite like a variety in Oregon, surprisingly.
Wow, that's great. It's one of those states I've never been to, and it's kind of on my bucket list, and I'm not really sure why, but I want to experience it. And I know several people that went there, and they were on kind of like this hiking expedition, little journey, like cross country, and everyone always says, "Man, it's just a beautiful state," and there's just I don't know the energy. It's one of those areas you always hear about, like Sedona, and you hear about certain aspects of certain places, and I've heard that a lot about Oregon, and I've heard a lot of people just kind of get swept up in nature, and you can kind of lose yourself in some of the forests, and just it sounds pretty amazing. So we're gonna come visit. Two Psychics is coming out. You got to put together an event in Oregon, and we're gonna come visit you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and of course, like I don't know if this is true on the East Coast. I've been to like Boston and DC, and that's as much as I've explored. But even the people are a little different in Portland and Central Oregon. People who like the outdoors, but still, it's like different cultures, even too. You're just 3 hours away.
There's none of that attitude that you get on the East Coast, right?
No, but I love the attitude on the East Coast. I love how like you're never questioning with people on the East Coast. It's like we're direct and this is what it is. And I'm like, thank God I'm not guessing.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. No, that's really cool. What I always find interesting is though being like what I consider you an energy practitioner. Obviously, you're manifesting and everything that you do. You're an energy practitioner. Oregon. It's interesting. Like there's certain areas around the country that I wouldn't expect to be like this mecca of spirituality and a lot of growth there, but I'm finding certain spots like that, and it's these kind of off the beaten path areas, and there's so much spiritual growth, and so many people are awakening to this. And like, what is your area like? What is?
Yeah,
What
totally.
is, mhm.
It's interesting you say that. Like I will say like Portland, Oregon is very much that way. Like I have, a few spiritual connections there. And then in Central Oregon, it's interesting because we're actually the number one hub for nomadic lifestyle as far as like people working digitally.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting culture here where you've got people who perhaps work on their laptops or they might commute to California and then they've got the outdoor active lifestyle. So like think going to the mountain to go skiing or going out and paddle boarding for the day. So it is a healthy balance. But what's interesting about that I feel about this area is that it does create more of like people kind of doing their own thing more than like maybe you might see other places of like pockets of communal spiritual growth. I found that to be a little bit more noticeable in Portland than here for me personally. Not that it doesn't exist here for sure, but it feels a little less evident, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. See, like here, in the city, Jersey Shore, it's everywhere. there's spiritual centers, wellness centers.
Yeah.
I mean, you have like there's really an awakening to it, and it's interesting seeing it in my area starting to become so mainstream.
That's cool.
It's not something I ever thought. You'd have like other. I have so many people that come to my events that are in the medical system or other practitioners or different industries that are crossing over, and they're understanding that the industry of wellness has so much I would say traditional medical system has so much learning to do that us I think in the spiritual community have tuned in for so long, and we've become so aware of energy and how we can what energy are we putting out, what energy are we absorbing, how are we manifesting, what's going on. And it's almost like the mainstream is starting to awaken to this and starting to go, wow, there's something to this. And not just for their patients or their clientele, but I'm finding like practitioners, people that are in the medical system or teachers or people that are even in like retail and dealing with lots of people or people that are running restaurants, running businesses. If you're not tuned into your energy, it can cause your own internal energy to become very chaotic and you're not even sure why. So when we can tune in and focus in on that energy, learn about it, it totally shifts everything about how you approach everything and anything, and are you seeing that by you and like your area? Is there like an awakening that's starting to happen, or are you really on the cutting edge kind of beginning of it there?
Yeah, well, I would think like, yeah, with the city, like people in the city are like craving more of that, right? Like
Mm,
because of the density there. And like if you have such a busy lifestyle, then it's like you may not have noticed that you needed it before, right? And so it's I think it's different here because it's like people are already out in nature every day. So whether they call themselves spiritual or not, they're like used to like grabbing foods that fuel them so they can go up to the mountain, and so they may speak in like a different vernacular, but it is like more of a it's just like it's like more natural. Like it's not like really spoken, I would say, because it's been embedded in the culture here for like so long of that like balanced life, I would say.
mm. Yeah, that's awesome. See, and it's funny because that's a complete shift from here. It's the hustle and bustle, and everyone's going as fast as they
Yeah.
can. We have to
Yeah.
get stuff done. I got my to-do list. And it's funny because that's something Mary Amy and I were, we're always telling people, slow down, be present, be mindful, and everything will shift. If people are in that chaotic state of rush, so much of our energy, just becomes expelled and lost. And we absorb so much that, I have so many people that come to me and I don't know why I'm having an anxiety attack, or I'm dealing with depression, what's going on. And as soon as they start tuning into the energy around them, or energy cycles, at their work, or, whatever it may be, they start becoming aware that I'm absorbing a lot of energy that isn't even mine. Then they can learn how to process it. So one thing, and I love talking about like the different areas around the country, and I think people want to know. I've had a lot of people asking me, I'm looking for a new journey. I'm looking to kind of get up and go somewhere else, and it's interesting. So I like talking about what's going on in certain areas, and kind of give people the energy and the feel for it. And Oregon sounds like a really, really cool place.
It is. And it's like, what I'll say that I love, like, I'm a seasons gal. I'm like a smells person. So, like,
Mm,
here in Central Oregon, when you walk out, like, the smells of the pine tree and the sweetness is like, it just takes you over. And like, even the sagebrush. But then you go to surrounding areas of Portland, and it's like all the evergreens and the wet moss, and the smells are just like so, and just like enamoring.
mm.
Something I notice about the area.
No, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, that's definitely an interesting aspect that not a lot of people think about. And it's funny because I was talking about with Mary Amy earlier, and saying, I spent my day gardening today. I was able to unwind. I was hanging out with my plants and my flowers, and it just put me in the zone. I was so grounded, and kind of the hustle and bustle, and doing lots of events and readings. It was so good to just kind of sit down. And that's the one thing. My rose bushes are blooming, or I should say my wife's rose bushes are blooming. They're gorgeous. And just the smell. And we have the butterfly bushes that are they're starting to go into bloom. And yeah, it was just, it really is. I think it's one of those things that we don't take enough time to just slow down, breathe in the beauty, take the visual beauty, and enjoy what this world has and what it can present to us, and how we can enjoy that through our natural senses. And it's an amazing thing. I see Miriam, she's writing, and
I do.
it's so I know
I
you got a
couldn't help
question
it. I
over
have to do a little read.
there.
Okay, so Kalen, I have a question for you, but before I say that, I just got information about you because I tapped in a little bit. So right off, I saw mountains, two mountains, and you do appear to be somewhat of a fairy tale character, just the way you look, your visual. So you go far, far away dreaming, and you want to physically move more and more because you get bored in one place. um, you are awakened to many other realms since a child. In fact, you've had experiences, supernatural experiences that you don't really speak about. There's some secrets. You have very large goals, bigger than the box that you have around you. Okay, something about an earthquake. Here's more nature. So we had mountains, earthquake, but it's not an earthquake like a dilemma earthquake or a tragic earthquake. It's almost like an earthquake that has woken you up inside, and you can't stop after you get started. In fact, you're someone who doesn't need a lot of sleep. You can go for some time without sleeping before it catches up with you. You also have a different personality. This is what I'm reading. Different personality for different friends. Something about a teddy bear toy, and you need childhood objects for grounding. My question is, what made you invent because you invented this class, Flow Master Class. So what brought this on for you to invent this? And can you tell us something about it?
Yeah. Well, thanks for all that. Some of it resonated, some of it made me scratch my head.
Okay.
But I really connected with most of it.
You didn't know you were going to get a reading and everything tonight,
I
right?
love it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah. That was like so impromptu. I love it. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a fun reading. Um, so yeah, I've like dabbled and tried different manifestation courses or, thinking about the idea of manifestation too. And for me personally, like from the outside looking in on the word manifestation, something like just didn't feel right to me, where I was like, I don't want to just amass a bunch of stuff and it feels empty. And I have this life that I don't really relate to, but I like having, there's a different vision of me as well from what I was like knowing about myself. And so like probably the last year, I've brought like way more embodiment work into my life and into my like practice. And what I've noticed is that I think sometimes with manifestation, it's like, well, you just got to be positive, or you just got to write out the things. And that didn't like really work for me. And so I am more of like an artist. I feel very deeply. And so connecting with a practice that one felt authentic to the artist in me, and two like really honored feelings and authenticity is like really what I wanted and what I wanted to share with people. Because I think sometimes people like are promised things with certain manifestation and it doesn't happen. And I don't want people to feel like it's not working or like you can't do the thing, but maybe let's go about it a different way. And so it was for like the sensitive in me, it was for the big dreamer in me, it was for the artist in me, and for people who might relate to that more than maybe like the journaling or the positive affirmations who have also been there. And so yeah, it like the color frequency is more about like feeling the color in your body. Like, what is the thing you want to create? Is there a color associated with it on a spectrum of a rainbow of that thing? And like, can you feel that color and that object and bring it into your body as like a frequency practice? And so what I like about that is like when I'm painting a painting, I'm feeling in my body before it's out on the canvas. And I know when I need to adjust for it to feel right. And so like with manifestations, like you don't need someone else's house or you don't need someone else's job or whatever. It's like, what's the authentic creation to you? And so feeling the color associated with it, it helps it to like feel more like it's matched with me, if that makes sense, instead of a mental like exercise of trying to be somebody I'm not. And then it's like, oh, now I can feel my reality in a different way and feel like it's lining up more with me and the way that it comes in.
Do you associate certain color, you yourself, do you associate certain colors with certain experiences?
I don't know if I've ever like practiced that. When I'm painting on a canvas, there are certain colors that want to come out for sure. But like in my life experiences, I don't think that I've ever connected in that way.
No, I guess because so you just brought up color and it was emotional and I was thinking about like as a child, like the kitchen that I don't remember details of the kitchen in my childhood, but I remember there was a lot of yellow and then my bedroom had a lot of lavender. So I associate that color with that's what I meant.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. As a child, I had a buttercup yellow room with like blue stenciled butterflies and flowers and a blue and white striped bedspread. And it was just like, oh, it was so, and the sunshine would come through the window and it was just like so dreamy. And then as a teenager, I wanted like really in your face lavender, fuchsia, purpley walls with like purple zebra print comforter. And that felt like really fun and wild.
Are you empathic? You're empathic, aren't you? Yeah,
Yeah.
because you sound empathic. Do I
Oh, she's
understand?
yeah, and she's an artist. Artists.
Oh, it's amazing.
If you're an artist, you're absolutely empathic. That's one thing I have to say is I'm finding such a correlation between the creative aspects of ourself and that intuitive, like psychic connection. And I think artists know, like when you're in that zone and you're painting, I mean, you're just in that space and you let go of everything. And it's the same space that I'm in when I'm doing a mediumship reading. We find that divine. It's that divine space that we can we share that. And I
Yeah.
think that's where the special stuff unfolds. What I'm really curious about, and one of the questions I always love to ask our guests, because I think anyone out there listening, sometimes they're feeling lost on their journey, or they're feeling, hey, I'm an adult now. I didn't have these experiences as a child. Like, what's going on now, or what's happening? But I'm always curious of the journey, and like, were you very empathic, and did you open to this stuff like as a child and then close off to it? Like, was there an aspect of traditional religion, spirituality in the house that kind of tuned you into the energy around you? Or like, what was the journey like that got you here?
Yeah, you and Mary are touching on like very similar things where like when I was a kid, I was totally just like everything felt like dreamy, magical, alive, playing outside, running barefoot, doing rain dances. And I just didn't feel like anything was missing. I was like climbing trees, really also into like drawing art, putting on plays, singing, dancing, just like felt like bigger than life, but like I didn't need permission, I didn't need to like check around and see if it was okay. It felt like just super natural to be that way when I was a kid. And then like as I got older, I would say like probably starting around puberty, I started to kind of shut that down, and I was like wanted to fit in and wanted people to like me. But I still like excelled in a lot of areas of my life. And so I would say like the working harder mentality started to take over. And that really kept progressing to like a pinnacle, I would say, in my younger 20s. And I was like looking at, do I want to keep this career trajectory? Because there was like an opportunity for a promotion. Like, do I want to go and do a promotion or go back to school and specialize in something? And I was like, oh, neither of those feel right to me. And I thought that was so bizarre because I was doing culturally like what I was supposed to do. But I put away like a lot of, I was still like a tiny bit artistic, but it wasn't really like at the forefront of my expression at that time. It was more just like finding ways to bring creativity into my job when I could seep it through and come up with creative solutions. Um, and that helped me be organized, and it helped me meet new people. And there were like, I'm like finding the blessings in part of that path, that it's like we can take wisdom from all of it and like culminate it into something. And so it's like I'm finding the value in all of that now. But then I saw that I couldn't make that decision for myself, or I didn't know how. And I was like, okay, maybe my mom's meditation book that she's trying to give me might hold some wisdom. And so I started, and I did grow up in the church. I grew up in a Christian church, and really felt a strong connection with Jesus when I was a kid. Would always reach out, always felt very connected. But then it was so interesting because like as I got older, there's so many things about women, when you're past puberty, that the church, I think, or that Christianity can really stifle. And so I had been internalizing that message as well and trying to be really good. And so once I started like getting into meditation, I was like, what kind of route do I want to take? Like, where is this going? And just playing around and discovering, and got into A Course in Miracles for a little bit, which really helped me get into forgiveness work. I had been really missing like just wanting to be right all the time, and like missing forgiveness work. So that was huge. And then I was noticing just like some openings with that, right? Like just some mind quieting. And then my dad ended up passing from leukemia, and it just like, it like completely broke me open. And that's when I like started seeing angel numbers everywhere. And I'm like, what's going on here? And so thankfully the teacher appeared and started working with somebody to start like connecting differently with my world, from a more awakened perspective. And that's when my gifts started coming about, where I could work with people and like do healing sessions. But it helped me balance my life. It helped me feel invigorated in the classroom, helped me feel invigorated in my relationships. And so then I just wanted to bring that to people. I was like, I want people to know that like you can have whatever job you have, you can do whatever you want to do, but like you can do it in a different way. Or if you want to do something different, you can do that too. And so that's really when it all kind of came together. And then I just have kept deepening. I've brought more of a cohesive relationship with more of the Bible, with Jesus story, bringing more Magdalene elements in, and sacred feminine wisdom of like feeling at home and weaving beauty in the body, so that it's not just like we're not just meditating with mind, we're also like feeling we're you know, really being with ourselves every day too. So those two have been like really important components for me that I feel a lot of people sometimes might be missing. um, they might be doing like one or the other sometimes, so it's like it's really nice to bring it all together, bring it all home.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's interesting how I feel from an early age you were definitely opened and tuned into the energy of that divine realm around us. And where would you say the connection to the art happened? Was there like a moment where you're like, wow, my soul is calling me to get back to this. I really need to start painting or drawing. I need to incorporate that as a really integral part of my life. Like where was that shift, and when did that kind of awakening happen?
Yeah. So when I was in Albuquerque, I like couldn't even really connect with myself. I was like, I didn't know who I was. And I think some people will call what I was going through like a Saturn return, which is a very intense time.
Yeah, yeah, kind of the
And
dark
so,
night of the soul, right?
yes. And I was like, oh, and my mom was like, you need to go get checked for bipolar. It's like the woman I saw, she's like, that's not what's going on with you. I was like, okay, good. And so
It's a spiritual awakening.
yeah, yeah. And so I was like, I'm ready. I wanted to pursue healing work, but I didn't really know what that looked like. I was like, maybe art therapy, maybe, I don't know, but I love art. And I know that when I just was like, I was painting at the time in Albuquerque just naturally. Like I was getting the inspiration, the download to like do a tree of life on canvas. And so I painted that. And I just was like, for me to let's just take a pause here and reconnect and recollect. And so I was just like painting, checking out our books on my own. And then I had some money that I transferred from that job. And I was like, ooh, I'll just I'll hop into a college painting course. And I had never like really formally trained myself in painting. I was always into drawing, but it was cool because I could cross over a lot of the tools and resources of drawing into painting, and like the spatial awareness and all of that was like super helpful. And so I took a painting class at the local college and was painting just like nonstop because we had all these assignments. And so then I also coincidentally like met my boyfriend around that time. And so you're feeling the love of a new relationship, right? So I was like also painting, just feeling so much love. And so that was also coming through as a way to want to be expressed in my paintings as well. This lemon tree, or lemon painting, I should say, I did that. Yeah, when I 8 months or 5 months after my dad passed, and it was when I started feeling bursts of joy coming in, after I was integrating a lot of my gifts. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have to carry this grief forever. It was just like so profound.
So the art in and of itself was very healing for you. And do you think the art, like kind of handing yourself back over to your creative divine self, is what help that healing process, or what was that? What was that cycle like?
Yeah, it wasn't like I'm consciously healing something. It was there's something stirring in me that needs to be expressed. And
Mm,
I don't like paint every day just because I love it. I paint like an idea comes through and it like has to come out of me
yeah.
essentially. And so at that time, like when I had moved back to Vancouver, Vancouver, Washington is right on the border of Portland. So
Mm,
when I first started getting back into painting or getting into painting, my paintings were like super dark, but not like monsters that go boo in the night. It was more like dark streets with a little lamp,
mm.
or a couple on the front porch and it's night and they have a little lantern. And so there was like this spark of light. And then there was like a progression through my paintings where they just got more filled vibrantly with color. And then that's kind of where I'm at now in most of my artwork. So like bright colors, contrast colors, but I always paint um, the same colors are up above as there are below. I use the same colors in the whole canvas to create like really this feeling that like everything's connected and there is no separation.
That's pretty wild. Did you ever consider drawing an or? I don't know if you're familiar with it, what an orograph is. For some reason, I'm just so connected to talk to you about this, and I just in your energy, I feel like you would be very good at this. And there, certain mediums, what they'll do, and especially mediums that are really really good artists and can visualize or see who they're connecting to in their mind's eye, they'll actually draw the spirit. But some of them take it a step further, and what they do is they draw the aura of everything they see in your collective, in your energetic body. And it's really interesting. Like as you're speaking about the art and the drawing, I think that would be something you could do very well at. I don't know if it's something you could incorporate into exactly what you're doing now, but it might be something to practice at. Or is that something you ever like? Are you familiar with that orographs? Have you ever heard of that? Or
I haven't heard of people drawing them, but I've seen pictures with people's auras around.
yeah, yeah. And sometimes it's not just the energy. Sometimes like there's a phenomenal spirit artist. His name's Joe Shield. And I've studied with him. His work is fantastic. I've seen his work just grow over the years to something phenomenal. And what he would do is he would draw and he would show you different things that he saw unfolding, different areas around you, maybe a different state or a place in the world that you may go to, different just symbolism that would unfold. And it was very, very interesting seeing how this energetic connection would turn into this beautiful piece of art. And, it would have pieces of nature in there, may have waves, may have just aspects of you and your personality that you're like, wow, that just really resonates me. That spirit animal that somehow unfolded in there, that hawk that blended into like an island. And it was interesting, just like focusing and reading on the energy and the auric field of the sitter, like this beautiful artwork would come out. And I don't know, just as I'm sitting here talking to you, it's funny because in my mind's eye, I see something like that manifesting for you, or I see you having that ability and that potential, and maybe you're just, not doing that yet. But so I'm curious as far as like psychic, intuitive, where do you see yourself in that realm as far as,
Well, first for your art thing, I want to say thank you. And I did a commission piece for a friend and I was like, I see you're the mom horse and then the blackbird on your back is your son.
all
I did
right.
that for her and she like loves it and it's in her room.
That's the exact same thing. And it's literally, I mean, like I had an autograph done and it literally was like a 4 hour process. I mean, it was intense. And even like my energy was probably just as all over the place as, as the medium that was doing the autograph, Joe, and he did it for me. And yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful, energetic unfolding. And you would do really well at that. Like just from what you're saying now, seeing the horse and seeing that, and it's just allowing that energy of what you're picking up on to kind of unfold into that piece of art, and yeah, you should definitely look into autographs. And I'm sure there's no one probably in your area even doing it. Like if people want someone in your area, and it's interesting. I'm seeing mediums in our area that were very good artists being able to incorporate that. And it's funny because it's one thing that I've always considered, because as a child and when I was very young, I drew, and I was very, very, I was very into it. And then I got turned on to music, and I kind of put the art aside, and my creativity kind of carried over into music. But it's one of those things where, as a medium, I can see a lot of times the face, or or the aspect somewhat in a portrait of who that person is I'm connecting to. And I think, wow, if I could draw that, that would be pretty amazing stuff. And I'm just curious, do you get sensations like that? Or when you're connecting on an intuitive level, do you see things in your mind's eye? Is that like where you'll form it? Or like how does that come to you? How does the energy come to you?
Like I think it comes as a feeling and
Mm,
it comes
okay.
as a visual.
Okay. Okay. So you're getting both. You're feeling it, and you're seeing it in
Yeah.
your mind's eye too. Very, very
Yeah. I'm a
interesting.
big like feeling seeing person.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting because that like with me with the music, I'll hear it a lot of times, and it's beyond me, something that's coming to me. And do you feel a lot of times like it's being imprinted on you, or do you feel like you're picking up on the energy of the person, or like where do you feel the energy and the energy connection when something like that is happening?
Mm. It, yeah. So if I'm like with somebody and talking to them, sometimes, or like if it's art, I feel like it kind of comes like this, like it kind of comes like that.
Mm,
But if it's like if there's like an intuitive message or like there's guidance, it can be like a
okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, and
like that, like that.
because yeah, I think it's important for us to kind of share these things, and because there's so many people out there that have experiences like that, or artists that, or musicians, or whatever it may be, creatives that aren't allowing that process to fully unfold, and I think they're doing themselves a disservice. And then you have some that are completely there and don't even realize it, and it's like, well, I go into this zone, or I
Yeah.
step out of my body, and this thing happens, and it's funny. So I think it's important for us to talk about that, and people aren't going crazy when they have these experiences, or they're picking up on energy, or they're with someone and they start getting visuals, or start getting a feeling, a knowing, a gift of knowledge, and and I think sometimes that could be a little frightening or a little startling, but like anyone out there that's listening, when you settle into that, so much beautiful information can come through, especially the artists that are out there trying to create. That's where the magic happens, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like it can just like come out of nowhere. And then I like
Yeah.
how you're talking about just the different ways and modalities, because then it's like you can pay attention and maybe like attune yourself more in that general direction.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're a great listener, and I want to say you are a great listener because I can see you listening. I'm aware of you listening, so I know that you have clairaudient. Okay, you express so much visually and emotionally, and and obviously because you're doing it through your art, aren't you? And you're seamlessly kind of moving things around, aren't you? So
Mhm.
I have two questions. One question, which was my first one, and then I went, oh, I gotta ask this. One was I had read in on your website about what are they called? Thought loops, and how do you get out of them? That's one. And the second one is please tell me what your dreams are like, your sleeping dreams.
Yeah. Thought loops. Yeah. So, how to get out of thought loops. I think what's interesting, like when I first was wanting to get out of my thought loops, I was like, okay, I'll just go like fix it, or I'll try harder, or I'll just like think differently about it, you know? But I think what's interesting about thought loops is that like we think that there's a story and then we have a feeling about it, but really it's that there's a feeling in our body and then we create a story. And so in my experience, instead of like trying to meditate it out or try to think it out or whatever, like going into my body first to feel the sensation has been a wild experience to help me start to retrain my brain and say like, oh, like that's not even maybe even the story. Like that's what's crazy is like every day is such a new day that we could be having sensations in the body, and that sensation could actually be wanting to encourage us like that you're creating something new, and that it's not even like associated with an old story or an old thing like this is going to happen again. And so even the sensations themselves might, I don't want to say not be accurate, but it's like maybe even like not even putting a story with the sensation. And so just feeling like where that story or whatever's going on in your body to like really be going in and feeling it as deeply as possible, whether that's just like closing eyes, breathing through, or like doing a vision journey, going deep in and being in a journey, a led journey. But either way, to like feel the sensation all the way through, sometimes it can like clear in one time, but sometimes, you know, it's just a layer of an onion. And it's like you're just getting more and more out, and the story is shifting each time. But I just like believe life's wanting to create something new, and those sensations might just be encouragement for that.
Very cool. I love the one thing I'm going to talk about. It's in the write up we have here, where Mary Amy put, you know, wait, a little bit about you, and you talk about bringing presence, strength, joy, and love to the forefront until it becomes a reflection of the limitlessness of what's possible. I love that. I love that saying. What I'm curious about, we have a lot of people out there listening, and a lot of people are like, you know, this show is about manifesting. You know, what, I don't feel like I'm good at manifesting, or what can I do? If that's someone's mindset and we have to shift, you know, that mindset, what would be some things that you can share with our listeners to try to get that shift to happen, or someone that, you know, has a self-limiting belief, or just the process of trying to lay the groundwork for manifesting? What would be your recommendation? You know, a few things they could implement or process. What, you know, what would you say would be a good starting point?
Yeah. So I'm going to counter, I'm going to go the opposite end of what I just said and give a paradox here where I was like, don't attach the story. But I'm going to say, like, you can work with the story too. So both can be true, where it's like, if you're wanting to create something in your life, you know, you can totally go in and feel in the body, like go down deep and see like where it lives inside of you, that story, like where did it first come from? Like you want this thing, okay, what's a story coming up that's preventing you? So this is really for people who have tried journaling and maybe they just didn't connect with it. Like I said, I'm just like a feeling person, so this works for me. And you know, our trauma lives in the body, it lives in the self, so it's a great way to just like feel your way really deep into the story. And you can even ask like your angels, your guides, to support you in the healing, and to really like just go as deep down as you can, and to like just hold the feeling and to feel it so completely. And you can ask for the divine to help to support you, like, you know, help me love this. And it's like, what's interesting when I do this is that often the story completely shifts of what I thought it was, that story that was causing me so much pain. It's not that the event didn't happen that's preventing this future new outcome. It's that like there's a different story about what happened now, and that feels really profound. It's like, oh, I can move past that now. And like a lot for me, it's like a lot of what it was in childhood, you know, of stories of what had happened, you know, around money with my mom, with my dad, and like, and coming and starting to see them from like a much more loving light. It's like, that's what's so powerful, is manifestation at its core is really about love. It's really about coming into wholeness. And so it's not like getting a shiny thing to make us feel better. It's like we get to feel better. And then as a result, our life begins to shift.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that you just said. That was that was really valuable. I really appreciate that. Like I thought what you just said. I'm gonna do a video of that 'cause I loved it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay, your dreams.
Oh yeah, and my dreams at night. Oh my
Yes,
God,
I like.
they're great. Like, my God, they've changed, you know? So there's a few different things I think that are interesting. So one is my dreams are like super prophetic about the future. Often I'm with my mom somewhere, I'm like, oh, I've had a dream about this, or I'm with my best friend, like, oh, I've had a dream about this. I had a dream. I looked back at my journal as a little girl and I was like, I had a dream my dad died. And I was like, oh, wow. And so, yeah, my dreams have always predict the future at night. And so that's really fun. Um, and I don't write them down. I just like feel them and I just know them. And then when I'm working through something intense in my life, they are like, I don't want to say scary, but they're just more intense, I would say. And I think that's like my subconscious, like really working through and healing something. Um, I used to have dreams of almost dying. And then when I started sitting in ceremony, I had a dream where I died, but I like surrendered into the light. But it was not, I was actually, it wasn't like fortuitous of the future. It was metaphorical of like surrendering into love. And so that's been cool since I've been sitting more in ceremony, is like my dreams are more whimsical, feeling like when I was a kid again, like seeing fairies in my dreams, seeing magic, feeling just so in love with the people around me in my life. And so now they're getting this different essence of like just really magical possibility. So that's been like super fun lately. Bright, fun colors like pinks, magentas, and sparkles, and um, a lot of beauty.
So much important stuff can be in our dreams, and that's what we talk about that a lot. And Mary Amy has her dream journal, and that's what we say. And as a medium, one thing, I don't know why I feel like I have to talk about this, but I'm curious, when Dad passed, and did he come to you a lot in dreams? I feel like I have to talk about like loved ones coming to you in dreams, and they're truly like, just understand that if we're feeling blocked, or we're going through grief of a lost loved one, sometimes that grief in the waking hours will block us out, from that connection. But in the dreamlike state, the right brain shut down, that creative left brain flowing, and a lot of times that's when they can come in and get that message and let us know they're okay. And I just feel like I have to share that with you. I don't know why. I just feel compelled to talk about Dad coming to you in dreams, and knowing that he's okay.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I feel his wonderful presence of encouragement with me more.
Mm.
And it's like such a nice affirmation that like love doesn't die, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when he first passed, yeah, like I believe I did have, I mean, of course I was going through grief, so my
Mhm.
memory is a little bit foggy here and there. But yeah, I think I remember him like coming to me, and I'd wake up, be like, I remember that. I'd be like, where is he? Or I'd want to
Mm.
pick up the phone and call. And so it was really weird and disorienting in that sense.
Yeah.
And now it's like the flavor has changed. And I had a dream recently about him. I um, went to the house I grew up in with my older brother, and it was snow covered on the ground. It was at night. I've been having like lots of dreams at night lately, which has been really fun. And we walk through the door together, but then the whole house transforms into like a 1960s house with um like reds and greens and
Mm.
oranges, and like the music's on and it's Christmas time. My dad was obsessed with Christmas,
Okay.
and there was like a Christmas tree with all these gifts under the tree, and my
Mm.
grandma recently passed, and so she was there, um and then family members I didn't really recognize. My uncle was there, he's alive though. And they were like, these gifts are part of these gifts are for you, and I was like, oh. So it's like it's fun to watch it evolve. It's like we can experience things, heal things, and then it's like then we keep evolving, right? And the dreams even change. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful journey when we're open to it, and it's an amazing process.
I sense that your energy really activates people. Just having this conversation with you activates me. And I don't activate that easily. Like I'm saying with things rising up, because I am open already. So you're very unfamiliar to me. Your
Mm.
energy is very unfamiliar to me but in a good way. So you are very much of an activator for people around you. And I'm sure that's why you're really excellent at what you do. And the more that you get your vibe out, your website out, as much as you want will come to you, because you carry something that's very special that a lot of people don't have. And configured into something that's really positive, and you're capable of helping a lot of people overcome like minor things to very overwhelming situations in their life because of the way you speak about it and the way that you share. So I really appreciate that you're telling us all this so honestly and candidly tonight.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that mirroring. It's yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, I've had people tell me like just in the first few minutes of just talking before we even did anything, they're like, yeah, I experienced like a really big shift. And I was like, oh, because like on my end, I have no idea. Like I just so yeah, I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Like I'm happy about that.
Well, and the amazing thing too is art, music, that creative outlet is a universal language, so I'm sure your art can touch the hearts of many people, and it's just going to be the more you get that out there and the more people connect to that. Yeah, there's going to be something really special happening there for you.
Thank you.
So if anyone wants to see what you're doing, kind of check out how you can help them manifest some of the art you're doing, what's going to be the best way to find you?
Yeah, my website, kalenolson.com is great. Kalen Olson, Olson. And then the same Instagram handle, Kalen Olson. Those are like where I'm most active right now.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, are you going to be teaching people how to do this or what, through art, or is it just kind of taking people on the creative journey of you drawing for them, or what's in store? What's the journey that's going to be unfolding?
Yeah, I haven't really felt an opening about art with clients. It's more just like if the opportunity pops up to do a commission, I'm always like, I always think that's super fun. They've more just like been for me, like when I get an idea, it just like comes through me more. That's how my art has played a part in me like opening my channel, if you will.
Yeah,
And so what I'm like feeling guided to is more like the one-on-one healing work. But I'm always open to like the journey and like where
yeah.
it goes,
I'm telling you that there's something special that's going to happen synergistically when you combine the art and the healing and the intuitive energy, and just there's something there. There's absolutely something there. So definitely keep that part of it open and flowing, and I think that's gonna trickle into the forefront of what you're doing. I just see so much power around that, and so much, I would say, of that gift that you can give back. And I think that's where the real special stuff is going to happen. I feel like when you blend that creative outlet with that intuitive energy and the healing, I don't know, there's something there. It's obviously just connecting to your energy in this short space, but I see it. There's definitely something there. So don't rule out you doing something really big, being able to incorporate your art intuitively into what you're doing. It absolutely there. The energy is there, so I just have to share that with you. When I see it, and I see it so powerfully, I can't discredit it.
Thank you so much.
I see you traveling to beautiful locations.
Oh,
that are filled with color. I see you in a really cold environment. I see you all over the planet. You're going to do a lot of traveling in your lifetime.
Mary.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you guys so much. I loved being here. And as soon as I hopped on the call, I could also feel just like so much joyous, light energy. So it's been really wonderful. And yeah, I would love to hear also just like a little bit more about you guys. And Mary, I looked at your website a little bit too, but just like your guys' journey too.
We're all in this journey together, right? We're just trying to, I think what's going on is new connections and new awakenings are happening, and we're all interconnected in this journey, and I think this journey, if we can all create together, and we all try pushing forward and try, like I say, we're all that beacon of light. If we could be that beacon of light, I think synergistically we all charge each other. We all can uplift each other. And like Mary, it was interesting, Mary talking about your energy and how she so resonates with your energy. And the same thing, I feel the same way. You have a very, very positive vibe, and that's kind of our vibe. We want to manifest that beautiful, creative, divine in everyone. So it's like people like us, like you, and hopefully anybody out there that's listening that has this calling. Their soul is calling them to do more. Their soul is calling them to manifest this beautiful journey. And I like what you talked about earlier. It's not just about things. It's this process and this unfolding and this amazing growth that can happen in this process of manifesting. So it's a beautiful journey we're all on. I'm so happy to share it with you, Kalen, with you, Mary Amy, and it's beautiful when we can bring like-minded souls together and we can share our experiences, because people need to hear these experiences. They need to know they're not alone. They're not the only one having this soul calling. And it's a journey. It's a journey, and anyone that's out there that's listening, once you open to this journey, your life will never be the same. It's as simple as that.
I'm here to magnify light and show and actually give people a chance to show who they are, because they might not be like given out in the public. So here we are, and we go all across wherever we can find somebody who is special, really special, who is kind of raw. That's how I look at it. It's not all like glossy and commercialized. It's more like the real pure heart, and to shed light on that and share that, because there's a lot of wisdom. You spoke about wisdom, and there's a lot of universal guidance that someone like you can give. And that's what we're here for. And so we're all about healing and psychic phenomenon and guests and interesting topics.
Oh,
Yes. So
thank you.
thank you so much, Kalen.
Thank you.
Anyone out there, Kalen Olson, Sacred Beauty Guide, and no masterclass manifesting. So absolutely, anyone out there, check out Kalen Olson, and I'm sure you're going to be back on at some point with us, or we're going to be doing something, because you're going to be sharing some of that art. I think that's what we need to do. Maybe we bump you up to do an autograph with us or something. We kind of get you in there, and we'll connect on an energy level, bring some mediumship through, you draw it.
I love it.
Okay.
So we get your hands on the next show, and jumping in with us, kind of doing something. No, it was a pleasure talking to you. I love your story. I love your journey, and you're going to be touching the hearts of a lot of people and helping a lot of people. So thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for being a part of Two Psychics podcast, episode 53. Woo! This is a good one. But thank you so much, Kalen Olson. We really appreciate you. Anyone out there, KalenOlson.com, is that correct? KalenOlson.com, easiest way to reach you. It's all there. So if you want to manifest, like Kalen, Mary, and myself are manifesting, check out KalenOlson.com. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Kalen, have a great night.
Thanks, you too, Mary. Bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Wow, that really touched me. You know what? This was awesome. She's awesome. I love her. I love her.
Yeah.
I love all of it. Okay, everyone. So let me just give you a rundown of who's upcoming. Everyone out there, we have some upcoming guests. It's very exciting. We have June 5th. We have Stephanie Potter. Okay. She's a spiritual channel intuitive guide and Akashic record guide. We have June 12th, Patrick Ward, a professional neuroplastician, healing mind shift.
Neuroplasticity, good stuff.
Helps with trauma,
good
yes.
Stuff.
June 19th, this guy I know from 2021, he's amazing. His name is Eric Vanderlaan, and he's a ghost hunter of paranormal hauntings, and he is the leader of this group. And he doesn't, he's not someone, Eric is not someone who's trying to blow up and say, oh, this is a haunting, oh, and try to make something of nothing. He tries to debunk it. And
Mm.
they go in with all the different equipment, and he does some really scary situations, you know, like where I guess the worst evil might lay or lie. And he's in Florida. And then July 3rd, we have Soma. I can't pronounce any of these words. Aria Pleiadian Akashic Reader. And then July 10th, we have Frank S. Milburn, Intel veteran, author of the Pentagon's UAP Task Force. And he's going to talk about UAPs and black projects, and that's going to be exciting. And then some upcoming guests that I don't have dates yet. Daniel Allen Jones, he's all about strange phenomenon and UFO investigator. And I have Kelly, who has a magazine, The Edge magazine, and
Mm.
she is an intuitive, and she's going to join us, and many, many more. I just have
Lots of good stuff.
yeah.
Lots of
We
good
have a lot
episodes
of, I
coming
know,
up.
it's exciting. Now, if you want to reach Michael Edley, eyeofthespirits.com, you can find him on Facebook, Instagram, X. MaryAmyOfficial.com. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And I'm also on TikTok now. So that's what we have
Making the rounds on social media.
going. We
Yep.
are.
So anyone that wants to see what we're doing, Two Psychics Podcast on Facebook. You got to follow our Facebook page. Eye of the Spirits with Michael Edley. Anything I'm doing, it will be on there. Have a couple new events that there are still tickets available if you'd like to come see what I'm doing and have not been able to get a private reading because I am jammed up right now. And it's going to be a little bit, but you can get a reading with me at one of these live events, Psychic Night, that we have all throughout the Jersey Shore here. So definitely check that out. Mary Amy has her dream journal. And I reposted it for you today, so hopefully some people saw that when I
Thank
reposted
you. I
it, and
appreciate that.
gonna buy a couple copies of that. But you can also find her stuff on Amazon. You can also, if you're on Amazon Music, if you're buying at Mary Amy's Dream Journal on Amazon, then you can jump over to Amazon Music and you can grab my Divine Journey of a Mystic Soul CD. Get your meditation vibe on.
Right overdue. We're on all the channels. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, FeedSpot. We've gotten named Best Psychic Podcast, some others. And I also have an interview I'm doing in July for Chariots of the Rise, and that's a paranormal channel. Okay, and we have some upcoming events we'll be telling you in the future. We'll let you know. And we'll be back again next Thursday. So everyone have a
Follow
wonderful
along.
evening. Happy
Two Psychics
summertime.
Podcast. We will see you next episode 54 coming up soon.
That's
See
right.
you then.
Bye, Michael. Be well.
Peace out.
Bye.